before I even get into striking, right, a lot of times students have a couple of disconnects when they start getting into striking. For one, I've seen this in a lot of students. One of the basis of throwing a punch, for instance, in the Krav Maga curriculum, is I punch, and we're not going to go over how to strike right now. I'm going to teach the punch in a later class, but I punch and I rotate my foot. And for anybody that's got a calibrated eye, a long-time instructor, you realize very quickly that they don't understand the concept behind why they're rotating that foot. So the idea being, if you notice, I'm rotating my foot and I'm throwing my strike, but I'm not taking the hip with it. The idea is that I rotate that foot so that my hip can come around. Whether it's a kick or a punch, all of this should come around in concert together. So if you have a student that's not getting any power and you're like, well, he's rotating his base leg, right? Why isn't he generating any power? Well, because he's just rotating his base leg. He's just rotating their foot, he, she, right? So the hip has to be behind it. So the whole body has to move in concert together. One of the drills that you can do to figure out whether or not you're bringing the hip around with the foot rotation, the rotation of the base leg, is practicing without the hands. All right? So now I practice out the hands. I get the shoulder coming around, which is bringing my hip around. And I get my hands up to my frame, right? Block, ready to block. And I shoot that hand out like punches are taught. And I make then that adjustment that I made, now the shoulder and the hip are coming with it. So get them doing a couple of repetitions with just punching with their shoulder. And then the next thing you know, when they throw their hand out in front of it, and it may not be that right away. It may be nice and slow and steady, getting them to slow down a bit. And then pushing the bag a bit. We don't want to spend too much time with the student pushing, because then their punch becomes a push instead of a strike. But that idea to align the shoulder with the elbow with the wrist, not try and skip from the shoulder to the wrist, right? This can all help structurally. So I go shoulder, shoulder, out. And I'm getting my shoulder behind each one of these, right? So that's getting your body weight behind the strike. So one of the things that I teach first before I teach striking a lot these days is actually striking with the body.